There is Torey Lovullo live from his office. Torey, we appreciate you coming on video. How you doing today, sir? You excited? 9 big
I'm doing
games
good,
to
guys.
go. 9 big games. Here we go.
Yeah. I enjoy this time with you guys when we get to face up and see one another. But yeah, we got 9 games to go, and what are we gonna do? Right? We're gonna go out and fight and scratch and claw, play fair, play dirty, do whatever we can to win as many of these games as we possibly can. That's what we are. We're gritty. We don't do it the conventional way, but we want to go out there and represent the state the best way we know how.
Well, it's a credit to you. It's a credit to the organization, and it's a credit to the players. And I mean this. I really mean this. It is a credit that we're sitting here on September 19th, and you guys are right in the thick of a playoff race. On the outside looking in, but right in the middle of this, because I think we go back to the trade deadline. I don't think many people had faith that this team could compete at that point. So what you guys have done has been great. It's been great to be at the ballpark. I saw you there the other night. Love watching the team play. They played a lot of inspired baseball since the trade deadline. So credit to the organization and you as well.
Appreciate that. Look, we had one of two things to do. We could feel sorry for ourselves and say we lost some really, really good players to trades, to injuries. And, those losses early in the year were massive. We of course needed that group of guys to keep pushing forward, and it just didn't happen. And, and the real heroes are the players. They're the ones that go out there every single day and get the job done. They don't know any better than to go out and play as hard as they can. That's our standard here. You got to give a good effort. If you don't, you're going to get replaced, and they know that. But really, it's been inspiring for me to watch these guys go out there and create this identity. They didn't know who they were on August the 1st. It was a room full of new faces, new names, but they came together and they fight together every single day. And our identity now is just, like I said, be gritty, go out there, win those little inches all over the field, and see what happens.
Torey Lovullo is our guest here on the Burns and Gambo show. You take 2 out of 3 from San Francisco, but you drop the finale in a heartbreaking fashion. You take 2 out of 3 from the Minnesota Twins, but you lose the opener in a heartbreaking fashion. Ultimately the name of the game is winning series, but when you start getting down to this point of the season, how much regret are you holding on to for those 2 games and how it might be a part of swinging this one way or another?
Right. The other afternoon on Wednesday was a killer. I'm not going to lie. And I had a tough time flushing that one through the course of the night and maybe even into part of the off day yesterday. But, we've done it before. We've loaded up before, right? We should have won 6 games in a row. That's how I'm going to look at it. And when you're talking about replacing some of the differences, we would be even with the Mets, but we're not. And that's our own fault. We got to figure out how to win those games, how to hit a sacrifice fly, how to have a more productive at-bat, how to make pitches at the right time to the right players when you're matched up the best way that we could possibly match you up. And we're going to learn. We use it as fertilizer to teach these guys, right? So when things like that happen, we don't just sit on our hands as coaches and say, oh, it's okay, go get them next time, boys. It's like, F no. We're going to teach you some of the thoughts and prep you the best way that we know how, so that never, ever happens again. And that's the space we always live in.
I think it was Tuesday, you guys used 4 bunts to help you win a baseball game. I love it. I love small ball, moving runners over. The next day, Wednesday, couldn't get the sac fly with Del Castillo. But I'm going to ask you, when Corbin's on third base, is there any part of you that's thinking, Blazes up, let me get a squeeze down? Is there any part of you let me get a squeeze? Now, I know you probably can't do it with McCann or Del Castillo, but could you do it with Alexander? Is it possible you can get a squeeze down? Do you think about it?
I think about it this much. It keeps growing. It's bigger and bigger and bigger.
Because it's Corbin on third. Yeah. It's not like it's not Gabby Moreno on third. It's Corbin Carroll.
You're right. It's tough to get a perfect squeeze bunt down with the bases loaded because all you got to do is force out the runner. When you're talking about the time difference from the catcher catching the ball and tagging, you need every second. When you dissect it that much, you got blazing speed at third base. You could probably outrun that, but you just don't want a bad bunch come into play where they can get a force out at home plate. I've thought long and hard about it. I could have squeezed Jake in the 10th inning. That was the one that was a real possibility. It was talked about. It was discussed. And I don't want to give any away of our trade secrets, but if we got to a certain count, a certain pitch to avoid a pitch out, we were going to probably pull it off. So yes, the answer is yes. We think about it all the time. We can do it. We practice it. We talk about it. They know how to execute it.
Okay, I'd love to see it because especially when you've got like Corbin at third base, I feel like you're going to be able to win that one more times than not. It
Yeah.
seems to me that extra inning games, we've struggled quite a bit in the 10th inning getting that runner from second home. I think it's like 10 times this year we
Yeah.
have not been able to get that runner on second home.
Yeah.
Baseball, look, you move them over, you get the sac fly. Why has it been so difficult for us in the 10th innings?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We talk about it. We address it. It's approach based. Every single time you are coming up to the plate, the at bat is telling you what you need. With a man on first base, you're trying to keep the ball off the ground because the pitcher is going to throw every ground ball pitch that he possibly can. When you have a man at third base and less than 2 outs, he's going to get you to try and swing and miss. So you're going to see elevated fastball, bounce balls down at the bottom of the zone, weak contact, balls that are going to be crowding you. So we are probably not sticking to our game plan on the level that we need to stick to it. And that's what good hitters do. They become extremely stubborn when men are in scoring position. You don't really change your approach. You don't really change your mindset. You just become very stubborn and wait for the pitch that you want to get to. Young hitters start to get nervous and they want the at bat over with quickly. We encourage them to see as many pitches as you can. Let that count get to 2-1, 2-2. So what? Let's hit with 2 strikes. I think that's part of becoming a major league hitter.
Torey Lovullo is our guest here on the Burns and Gambo show. You made the decision a couple of days ago to go to a 4-man rotation for the rest of the season, looking like to get an extra start out of Nelson, maybe an extra start out of Brandon Pfaadt. Will you manage these 9 games like playoff games in that now that you've got Krismot in the bullpen, will the hook be a little quicker if you feel like your starter doesn't have it that night as you would see in a postseason game? Or because your bullpen has been, your bullpen this season, do you give your starter a little more latitude than you might in a postseason type game? Because you're kind of in a weird territory right now.
I believe in starting pitching. It's a really good question, right? We got 9 games to go and there is no wiggle room, right? So it's a 9-game series and look, we got to win 9 of them. That's my mindset. So, we got to manage it as close to the vest as possible, but be aggressive and be smart about who's available. What does it mean for tomorrow or the day after that as well? You can't just start running into your bullpen. The next thing you know, in 2 or 3 days, you're going to have a depleted bullpen.
Right.
But I love our starting pitchers. I love tonight's starting pitcher. So I'm really anxious to see what he's going to be giving us coming off the heels of what Brandon gave us the other day. So I want that trend to continue. But yes, I have to be smart, have to be aggressive, and keep our team in the game. And stop momentum. That's the key. When you stop momentum and shift it back into your dugout, that's going to always be a win.
You know me, I much prefer a pitching duel. My favorite game ever was the Morris Smoltz game. I know we've talked about that in the past. What I saw the other night with Verlander and Brandon Pfaadt, to me, is just an absolute thing of beauty. I mean, that is great baseball right there. On the edge of your seat, every at-bat matters. I love that a lot more than a 10-7 slugfest. But we got to talk about Brandon Pfaadt. That is the best game I've ever seen him pitch. He was dialed in. He's done such a great job of not walking batters this year. He only walked 1 in 9 innings. What did you see out of him that made his performance so electrifying?
I'm with you too, Gambo. I love pitching and defense. Those are good, clean baseball games. And you got major league hitters standing up there ready to attack you. They've seen you, several times throughout the course of the year, and in fact, seen you throughout the course of the game, right? 3-4 times. And you still only give up 1 hit. He had it all going on. And I've always maintained that when a major league pitcher has that feel, and you can see it from the dugout, and just watch the confidence with him walking on and off the mound, the delivery and finish of the stuff. The best thing I could do for him was just get out of his way. And, it was 9 full innings of attack. He was throwing not just a fastball to attack. It was several other pitches that were non-fastball pitches that were attacking hitters. And he didn't make many mistakes. He was hitting lines. So he's in a little bit of a run right now. We want that to continue tonight. Hopefully it rubs off on Nelly for us.
All right, leave me with this. What are you trying to do? Did the day off yesterday help? Ketel Marte is batting 169 in September. This is one of the worst stretches of baseball he's had since 2023. This team needs him. They need him to get hot. There was a game last week against the Giants. He had a couple of hits. He had a hustle double. It was good to see. What do you need out of him in these final 9 games?
Yeah, we just need him to be himself. With the thing that stands out to me is the workload that everybody else is carrying around him. And that's what a good team does. You know, you're 1 through 9, you can't totally rely on one guy, but when he's that good, you can expect him to carry you like he did in that Texas series in Arlington. So we need him to get going for sure. We're trying to figure this part of the puzzle out. It's been a little bit of a riddle for us. It's tough hitting a baseball at the major league level is very, very tough. But I'll tell you one thing: he has not lost confidence. He has not stopped working, and he's bound to come out of this. I think there's a little bit of hustle to his swing. He's trying to do too much per at bat. I think he's trying to carry so much of that load that he's used to carrying that he hasn't become as selective as he has in the past. So we want him to check off of balls. I want him to make pitchers that he can bully around the field. I want them to feel that again. I feel like he's getting pushed around the box, and we need him to stand in that box and be very, very selective.
Torey, we always appreciate the conversation. Of course, we wish you the very best of luck. We appreciate you being on video with us for the benefit of our YouTube crowd as well. Best of luck this weekend against the Phillies, and we will talk to you next Friday, all right?
Okay, boys. Look forward to it. Talk to you soon.
Good luck to the D-backs this weekend. Absolutely. Big weekend of baseball for them, no doubt.
Thanks for watching Burns and Gambo. Click to see more from the guys and hit the button in the middle to subscribe so you never miss a video from Arizona sports.